If it's too high, it can ruin your life. If it's too low, it can do exactly the same. Today, let's talk about self-esteem. Self-esteem goes by many names: self-worth, self-regard, self-respect, and self-integrity. Naturally, these synonyms can differ slightly in meaning, but what is self-esteem? That's the question we should answer today. Self-esteem is confidence in our own worth and in our own abilities. Self-esteem encompasses beliefs about ourselves, like, for instance, I am worthy, I am loved. It also describes certain emotional states such as shame, despair, pride, or triumph. Self-esteem is often described as the positive or negative evaluations of the self and also how we feel about it. It is an attractive psychological construct because it predicts particular outcomes such as academic achievement or life happiness, life satisfaction in all sorts of relationships as well, and even some criminal behavior. It's a pretty important one, isn't it? Psychologists usually regard self-esteem as an enduring personality characteristic, but some normal short-term variations can also exist. Experiences in our own life are a major source of how self-esteem develops throughout our entire life. In the early years of our life, parents, they have a significant influence on our self-esteem and can be considered the main source of positive or negative experiences as a child will have. Unconditional love from parents helps a child develop a stable sense of being cared for and respected, and these feelings translate into later effects on self-esteem as the child grows older. Students in elementary school who have high self-esteem, they tend to have authoritative parents who are caring, supportive adults who set a very clear standard for the child and who allow them to voice their opinion in decision making. Childhood experiences that contribute to healthy self-esteem include being listened to, being spoken to respectfully, receiving appropriate attention and affection, and having accomplishments recognized, but also mistakes or failures acknowledged and then accepted. Experiences that contribute to low self-esteem include being harshly criticized, being physically, sexually, or emotionally abused, being ignored, being ridiculed, and maybe teased or being expected to be perfect at all times. During school-aged years, academic achievements is a significant contributor to self-esteem development. Consistently achieving success or consistently falling will have a very strong effect on students' individual self-esteem. But students can also experience low self-esteem while in school. For example, they may not have academic achievements, or they live in a troubled environment outside of school. Issues like the ones previously stated can cause adolescents to doubt themselves. Social experiences are another important contributor to self-esteem. As children go through school, they begin to understand and recognize differences between themselves and their classmates. Now, using social comparisons, children assess whether they did better or worse than classmates in many different situations and in many different activities. These comparisons, they play an important role in shaping the child's self-esteem and influence the positive or negative feelings they have about themselves. As children go through adolescence, peer influence becomes much more important. Adolescents make appraisals of themselves based on their relationships with close friends. Successful relationships among friends are very important to the development of high self-esteem for children. Social acceptance brings about confidence and produces high self-esteem, whereas rejection from peers and maybe even loneliness, now that brings about self-doubts and produces really low self-esteem. Adolescence shows an increase in self-esteem that continues to increase in young adulthood and middle age. A decrease is seen from middle age to old age, with varying findings on whether it is a small or a large decrease, but it's definitely a decrease. Reasons for the variability could be because of difference in health, of cognitive abilities, and maybe socioeconomic status, especially in old age. No differences have been found between males and females as far as their development of self-esteem is concerned. Multiple cohort studies show that there is not a difference in the lifespan trajectory of self-esteem between generations due to social changes such as grade inflation in education or presence of social media. High levels of mastery, low risk-taking, and better health are ways to predict higher self-esteem. In terms of personality, emotionality, stable, extroverted, and consciousness individuals experience higher self-esteem. Now, these predictors have shown us that self-esteem has something that we could describe as trait-like qualities by remaining relatively stable over time, like, for instance, personality and maybe intelligence. However, this does not mean it cannot be changed. I would love to hear from you in the comment section below what you think about self-esteem. Is it really as important as psychologists say? Is it something we can develop? Is it something we should develop? Is it something we should work on? Or maybe should we influence people around us to develop their self-esteem? Let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel and I will speak to you next time. Take care. But I would like to ask if you have seen any other videos about self-esteem on my channel. It's not easy to find them, but it's definitely worth the try.